time on Hobby Journeys, it's the Clash of the Titans, Primaris versus the Firstborn.
Hello! Welcome to Hobby Journeys. So, a bit of a special video this time. I thought it might be interesting to get Matthew's opinions on the big debate. The big debate.
I mean, it's not very big for me, is it?
Well, you don't know.
I
I mean, to be fair, if you went anywhere near Twitter at a certain time in the very late 2010s, you would be seeing this debate.
For me, it's not a very big debate because we all know all of my answers are going to be pretty much every single time.
Well, we haven't told them what the questions could be yet. So what we're going to be doing is we're looking at basically what does Matthew, who has a completely neutral view on all this, because
definitely.
Yeah. Well, you weren't there before with the Firstborn and so on. But yeah, we're basically going to be comparing the Firstborn Space Marines with the Primaris equivalents, and we're going to be getting your opinions. We're going to do a bit of compare and contrast and just see what you think is the best ones. So basically, what I've done is I've picked some models that have direct comparisons between the Primaris range and the Firstborn range. It's all stuff that is still in circulation, so it's still stuff that hasn't been superseded one with the other directly, but there are fairly good comparison points between them. And we're going to go through and get Matthew's opinion, and we're going to score whether Matthew is preferring the Primaris or the Firstborn. So for a bit of history, back in 2017, Matthew, the Primaris were released to as a sort of soft reboot of the Space Marine range. I mean, when I started getting back into the hobby in probably about a year or so after that, I mean, I hadn't done Warhammer for 25 years, probably, maybe 20 years, but a long time. But all the same models were there still. You still had your tactical squads, your assault squads, your devastator squads, your Rhino, your Land Raider, your Predator, all the stuff that was there in the 90s in second edition when I was really into it, and a little bit of third. And then I had a big break from the hobby and then came back to it, 2018, 2019, and they were all still there. They hadn't gone away as a thing. But I think that by that sort of point, things have probably got a bit stale, and Games Workshop thought it was time for a reboot. So they released the Primaris range, and I think it was rather contentious at the time. No one likes change. I mean, that is a thing. And I think a lot of people are upset that their existing armies were going to get wiped out. But to be fair, like I say, we are now, how many years? 7 years on from that, and a lot of the models are still, valid to be used. I mean, and if you had some of the characters, then a lot of them just went from being Firstborns to Primaris. I'm pretty sure you could use your old kits. There's some stuff
just
that
count it as the new.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I bought a load of bits and pieces from the old kits because they were cross transferable. Things like the shoulder pads, you could get some of the old ones and combine them with the new stuff and make something a bit.
That's what we did with my Space Wolves, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We got some axes and stuff, didn't we, for your Space Wolves from some old models, and I mean, for me, when I first got back into hobby, I was all about the Firstborn. I was like, no, I'm not having none of this Primaris thing. I just want Firstborn. But at some point, I started thinking these Primaris do look pretty good. I mean, one of the key things of the Firstborn is the models were always a bit not the right size and proportion. They were tiny, and also the proportions weren't quite right.
Wouldn't the Firstborn ogres be the size of the nowadays Space Marines?
Well, I mean, that is the thing though, because the Ogrins probably were meant to be about the size of a Space Marine. The Space Marines are meant to be 8 or 9 foot tall. But the models themselves were about the same size as an Imperial Guardsman, or maybe just a little bit bigger, which implies they were maybe about 6 foot. So it never, they were meant to be these big heroes of the Imperium, super soldiers, but the models never quite lived up to that in a lot of ways. So I think they could have just taken the Firstborn and made them bigger. You know, they could have just made them, but they went down the route of a full reboot of it. It was quite a serious reboot in the end. I mean, it was quite sizable. There was a lot of models released. I think one of the problems is a lot, certainly at the start of 8th edition, when they first released the Primaris, a lot of the models were very bog standard. There was nothing special. There were no unique units for different chapters. All the models were just straightforward Space Marines. I think some people out there may like the Firstborn stuff still, which is absolutely fine. I still love the Firstborn stuff. You know, I mean, I still think there's some great stuff in there. I do also love the Primaris stuff, and I also do think the models, the whole ranges of Games Workshop models have increased in quality over the last sort of 8 or 9 years massively. Certainly over the last 20 years. So the Primaris are obviously going to be better models just from that point of view because they're newer. But here we are.
Like you would have got lead poisoning back in the day.
Well, Well, I remember being told after I'd painted any miniatures, I had to go and wash my hands so the lead got washed off. And there were warnings on them to say, just handle these carefully. No, kiddies. No.
So I wouldn't be able to do it nowadays.
Oh, well, I did, but you just need to be supervised. And the things like, to be honest, most of them you weren't supposed to use a hobby knife, but we rarely did because they were all big one model per thing. You might have some arms to stick on, but you may do. It was all fine. Shall we get into having a look at some comparisons between the Primaris and Firstborn and see what your scoring is?
We've already spent 8 minutes yapping.
We have spent 8 minutes yapping, or something. Anyway, first up, we're going to look at the battle line miniatures, the core of your force. We're going to look at Intercessors and compare them with the Tactical Space Marines. What's your initial thoughts about these two as a comparison? What are your thoughts about Tactical Space Marines, first of all, the Firstborn?
They're not as bad as I thought they'd be. I still don't amazingly like them, but they're not horrible.
So what's your thoughts on them? I mean, is there anything that you like about them compared to the Intercessors? I mean, look at the Intercessors. Is there anything that you think is better with these guys?
I do like the pointy helmet. That's really
the beakies. Well, of course you do. Beakies are amazing. At some point, we might look at the Horus Heresy as a comparison point as well, because they have redone I think it's Mark 7 armor is the beaky helmet style. I think that wonderful stuff.
But except for that, I don't really like that. I don't prefer anything else above them other than new ones. So
one of the things I prefer, I quite like the fact you get a bit more variety in your models. So you do have, like you say, the Mark 7 armour. Most of the guys are Mark 8 armour.
He's holding.
The missile launcher?
No. No,
that one.
It's so circular.
It is, yeah, I mean...
What type of bolter is that?
I don't think it's a bolter. I think that's one of the special weapons. I can't think which one that is, though. I think it's like a gravity gun of some type. I can't remember what that is.
Gravity gun?
Well, they do. They have various clever weapons of sorts.
Except for that beaky helmet, there's nothing else I really like that much.
Well, these guys, just your normal guys with bolters. Whatever that gun is. I don't know what that gun is.
Is it a Butker? Is that because that's what it's...
No, I think that says Ultra for Ultramarine, because they're all painted as Ultramarines, aren't they? This guy with a little...
Power fist.
with his power fist going on.
He's okay.
Okay, so then we've got the Intercessors, which is the update. I think these are, obviously you can see the bigger models.
Stick some beaky helmets on them and you like...
Do you think stick a beaky helmet on? It's not bad either. I might do that. I do have some beaky helmets kicking around. I might do that.
Some Horus Heresy.
Oh, you get the Horus Heresy kits with some helmets in it.
They're the same size, aren't they?
They are, yeah, you're absolutely right.
It would actually work.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. To be honest, I think the Intercessor kit for the Space Marines is really, really good. There's a lot of options in there. I think the models are good. They had to do a good job with it because this is going to be the bulk of what people buy. I mean,
Exactly, if you didn't know else.
I bet this has to be the biggest selling of all of the kits you would imagine. And I do think it's a really good
Especially as well,
kit.
beginners will be buying it.
Yeah. So we've got and there's a lot of options. So you've got different heads, lots of them different poses. I think one of the good things is, if you look at the Tactical Space Marines, most of the poses are just wielding a weapon of some description. quite like this. That's a flamer. I do quite like that. But yeah, mainly winning weapons. Whereas there's a bit more of with the intercessors. You know, you got a guy looking at a thing on his shoulder. You got some guys pointing. Yeah, there's a few more options around that sort of thing. I mean, you know, you look at these guys. I mean, there's a lot of weapons. You also have the different varieties of bolter you can have. So you have the ones with the repeating fire thing. I'm really good with the names of this stuff. But then you have the other options, like you have the one with the rangefinder on it. You know, I mean, there's some options. I like the ones that have this grenade belt slung underneath. Guy putting the magazine into his gun. You know, there's good options in there. So, what's your winner out of the Tactical Space Marines and the Intercessors?
It's not really in doubt. It's got to be the Intercessors.
So we're going for the Intercessors for the win.
Intercessors.
So is that 1-0 to Primaris at this stage?
I mean, it's going to be a very hefty score to Primaris at this rate.
Well, we shall see. We shall see. I mean, you know, I think that there was some really good stuff in the old range.
Yeah,
which,
there was. They were better than I thought they'd be, but...
And I think there's going to be some stuff that we're going to see that we put that, you know, maybe the updated stuff hasn't been quite as successful. Shall we get into Terminators? So these are the old school Terminators. This is the Assault Squad.
I don't like the look of them.
You don't like the look of them? What's your problem with them?
First off,
I mean, let's look at the comparison point first. These are the new Terminators released recently. These came out with the Leviathan box set earlier in the year.
I like them a lot more.
Actually, no, a whole year ago. It's been a year since these came out. I think that they are definitely a lot bigger in size.
I don't like the old ones.
They're newer models. So what's your problem with the older ones?
First off, knives. I don't like them.
Is it just the fact they're assault options? I mean, because we are going to see...
That's not it. Why big hammers? Like, why that? Why? And
I'm going to be honest with you. We are probably going to see assault Terminators at some point in the near future. They probably will have very similar options to this. I love the Thunderhammer and shield option.
No, but the way he's holding, he's just holding it like this.
Yeah, I think to be fair, you are right. The poses are less dynamic. What about this guy though? That's quite a dynamic pose you've got going on there.
Better, but I don't like the other ones.
Yeah, I think to be fair, you do find that they do a better job of making them look like this guy striding forwards purposefully. This guy firing off his heavy weapon.
With that pistol, he's probably shooting like a Terminator that's on the ground.
Yeah, and then you got this guy just leaning back as he shoots. I do think they do very good dynamic poses these days, which
can't be said.
And yeah, they're bigger. I mean, you know, I think that is a thing. So, what's your thinking with the Terminators then? I mean, you know,
2-0 to Primaris.
I mean, I think that's an easy one then, to be honest, for the Primaris, because they're only really winning out because they're because of the. It's a newer model and it's just updating exactly the previous one. So maybe that's an unfair comparison, but you know, it's not a fair world we live in, Matthew, to be honest. So here we are. So 2-0 Primaris. Now we've got...
Oh, they look nice.
The Centurions. These are firstborn. These are your Centurions.
They're nice.
But they're going to get some stiff competition here, Matthew. You've got to put your feelings of your history with the models aside.
I don't think I've ever seen...
It's against the aggressors.
No! No.
So the Centurions. So what's you thinking with the Centurions, though? Like, tell me your thoughts on them. You think they're beautiful?
They're beautiful.
But I know the aggressors are a favourite of yours, because they came with Imperium magazine as one of the first things we got, weren't they?
Are you trying to make me depressed?
I mean, I think this could have been a win for the aggressors, or a win for the firstborn, if it wasn't for the strongest option in the aggressors they're up against. So tell me what you like about these guys, Matthew.
What's there not to like about them? Look how beautiful they are.
Yeah, so what exactly? Tell me some things you like about them.
Look at the gold, it's beautiful. Look at the weapons. Look at the eagles, it's amazing.
It's fair to say they're pretty chunky, aren't they?
Yeah, more chunky than chunkers.
Yeah, they are chunkier than the chunkers, the aggressors. You know, I think I do. I tell you, when I first saw them, I thought they looked a little bit. They were just a bit too much. Yeah. But they have really grown on me. I do like these guys. Same. I think they are, you know, good models. I like how sturdy it looks like. How do they even walk? But then you see they've got these. you've got this sort of exo frame around their armour. You know, they're in power armour that needs an exo frame to make it work because they're so chunky. Yeah. But then you got your aggressors. So what about the aggressors? What do you like about your aggressors? They are, but we're supposed to be taking a neutral view here. You have seen aggressors before. They are one of your favourites.
They're just beautiful. Look at the weapons. Look at the armour. Look at how chunky they are.
I mean, from my point of view, I do like the aggressors. They are a really, really good model.
I'm gonna say.
For me, I would be going.
It's 2-1.
You're going for the Centurions.
I'm sorry, aggressors.
Oh, back in the firstborn are back in the game here.
For how long though? That's the question.
Even against the aggressors, I mean, they've gone up against the best that Primaris can give you.
Yeah, literally.
And you know, I do think these are really, really good models. I've lot of time for the there is also an assault option as well, which have big drill arms and stuff like that.
I don't like that as much, but...
No, I'm into that. But yeah,
I'm sorry, chunkers, I've betrayed you. But,
but there we go.
They're more chunkier than the chunkers.
They're more chunkier than the chunkers, but there we go. But yeah, so it's 2-1 to the Primaris still. So now we have the Devastator squad. So this is your heavy weapon squad.
Yeah.
And we're putting that up against the Desolation squad.
Oh, this is quite easy for me, actually.
Big, let's just do a little review of them.
Yeah.
I would probably argue the Desolation squad is one of the missteps that we've had.
I don't like the Desolation squad.
No,
I really don't like it.
I think that it was a misstep. I've no intention of buying any myself.
It's such a hit and miss.
I can see what they were going for.
Yeah.
I just saw, proper big, stupidly big guns. I think they just didn't quite pull it off. I think they just didn't work. And
if they were going to make big guns like that, they should have made them at least really chunky.
So shall we have a look at the Devastator squad? So you've got a lot of different weapons options. So each individual one is going to have his own gun.
I'm going to be honest. I don't really like either of them very much.
Do you know? I mean, shall we look at something? Because you get a lot of gun choice. You've got this heavy bolter that he's carrying underslung.
I like that.
You've got a missile launcher held on the shoulder. Little baby cherub thing carrying some armor. They're actually like a robot.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, they are a robot made to look like a baby that can fly in the later lore, but at one time they were a lobotomized baby, which they took that out of the lore because it's a little bit rough. To be honest, a little bit rough. But yeah, so this is your Devastator squad. So
it's 2-2.
It's 2-2. You think to the firstborn? I think, to be fair, the Desolation squad is it's not great, is it? I mean,
at least if you're going to give them big guns, you can't at least make them chunky.
I think, to be honest, the problem is, I think what I would have done here is given maybe the similar gun would have worked if you're giving it to someone in Gravis armour.
That's what I just said.
Oh, did you? So I do apologise.
I just said make them really chunky.
Oh yeah, make them chunky. Yeah, we'll give them Gravis armour. If they'd had Gravis armour, they might look. Look at these guys, they look like they can't even carry them. The guns are too big for them. They are struggling, aren't they?
Oh, poor bit. I feel bad for you, poor bat.
Yeah, I think that the idea was, let's make a normal Space Marine, but with a massive gun. And they've just gone too massive, and it looks silly. Whereas these Devastators, they are still... I mean, these guns are just stupidly big, and they always were. One of the things I've always loved about Warhammer, it was just the crazy size of all the guns they wield. Especially, these guys are the prime example of it.
But they have a better stance.
Well, it works, doesn't it? It works. I mean, I think maybe...
Because they're holding it in a natural stance.
I think if these guns had been underslung, so if I think that they'd held them underneath, they might have worked.
Because, in the old one, they're actually holding in a position where, they look like they're struggling to carry
the key thing they don't do in this Devastator squad is none of them are holding them like a normal rifle, which the Desolation squad are trying to do. They're all either holding them underslung or on their shoulders to give them their spot, and it works. It works a lot better.
Because in the old one, they look like they're struggling, so they've had to adapt and use it differently. But in them ones, they just look like they're using a normal rifle or a pistol or...
I mean, I was going to originally put these up against the Hellblaster squad, but they have a plasma gun, a big plasma, and they work a lot better. But, I thought I'll probably put these up against the Desolation
So
Squadron.
then you
Let's see
get
how
an
it
easy
works
win.
out.
So you
Well,
get
I
an
thought
easy win.
let's make it competitive at least. You know what I mean?
But I just really don't like either of them.
So now we've got Jump Pack Intercessors.
You're really trying to make Primaris lose, aren't you?
No, well these basically
You're using all the troops I don't like.
Well, yeah, but we're going Assault Marines with jump packs up against Assault Marines with jump packs. From the Firstborn range. I mean, this is the Vanguard range because the original Assault Marines have been rescinded now. Fairly recently, actually. I think when these guys came out, the Jump Pack Intercessors, they removed those. You don't like either?
I think, go back to the Vanguard, I'd like them.
Yeah.
It gets ruined by the helmets though. The helmets look so wacky.
You think?
They look
I actually think with these, I do like a Mark 8 helmet, and we like a Beaky helmet. I actually think they've done something with these ones, and they don't look quite as good.
They don't look normal.
You've got to remember, these are the Vanguard. They are meant to be special.
What they've butchered his forehead. Look at it. It's massive.
I would say they do have a good variety of weapons with this squad. But that is because these are your normal battle line guys, so they just got a bolt pistol and chainsaws.
I don't mind them. Like, I usually wouldn't like them, but they're not horrible. Like, I don't hate them. I don't like them, but they're all right.
I really like. To be fair, I do like a guy with a jump pack. I like these guys. I think these are solid.
I don't like that they're standing on rocks though. It's so boring.
They are. Said there was these guys.
So are they though?
They stand on the ground mainly, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they are.
But yeah, they're all just on the ground. I'm not sure which I prefer, but I do think, mate, you're a cliche. So that's standing on a rock, like all Space Marines do.
But I mean, like the other ones are on foot, so they're not even really jump packing.
Well, that might be true. But yeah, so what are you thinking then, Matthew? What is your thoughts?
3-2 to Primaris.
You think 3-2 to Primaris? I think that's fair. I mean, these are at least better proportion. They look more modern.
I don't like either of them. Like,
no, you don't like
those
either
are
of
at
them.
least more average than the other ones that are like bad.
Okay, so 3-2 to Primaris. Next up, we're going to be getting into some tanks.
Thank you.
So we've got the Predator Annihilator.
Is that
This is Firstborn.
Oh, is it?
It's going up against the Gladiator Reaper.
Oh.
So the thing that we got with the Primaris was they're not quite hover tanks, but they are hover tanks. So they don't have tracks. They have like these hover things. So they basically glide above the floor.
Easy for me, you know.
Yeah, what are you thinking? I love a Predator.
Yeah, I think I prefer that one too.
Yeah, I
3-3.
think I like the track. I prefer a track.
Tracks are better,
If you're having a tank, it's got to be on tracks. I want it on tracks.
And it's better if it's on tracks.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're hovering, you're not gonna. If like there's a really like, you can't run people over. You can't even ram into people.
And I'll be honest, I think this model stands up. I mean, I think it's got a lot of detail.
It doesn't. I thought it was new.
I
couldn't tell it wasn't new.
I don't think it looks
That
dissimilar.
one looks older. I thought that one.
There's
looked
actually
older to
probably
me.
more detail. There's more slots and bits and things on it.
The new one looks older to me.
Yeah, I think this is a really good kit. Then there's a lot of variants of it you can get. Yeah, I think it's a really decent kit. This is. I don't like that. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I don't dislike any of the Primaris tanks. I'm not a huge fan. I do have this guy. I built it. There's two variants. One has this Gatling cannon. The other has like more of a long range weapon. This one is the Reaper has the Gatling cannons on top and heavy bolts on the bottom. I put flamers there because I thought it then aligned.
Flamers would be better.
Well, I did that because it's actually not a legal build, I don't think. But I wanted it to look like a Baal Predator, which is the Blood Angel special version, and that always has a Gatling up top and heavy flamers down the bottom.
This is it's 4-4.
3-3.
No, because it was 3-3 before.
No, it was 3-2.
Was it? Oh yeah, 3-3.
Come on, Matthew. Yeah, so it's an equaliser for the Firstborn. This is going to go down to the tiebreaker. We've only got one round left. But yeah, so we're thinking the Predator Annihilator was the winner there. It's also cheaper, but you know.
Really, the art has sort of carried thingy, like the art is.
Well, let's see what we're up to when we get to the Dreadnoughts. So we have the Redemptor Dreadnoughts.
Oh, I love the Redemptor Dreadnought so
I
much.
love the Redemptor Dreadnought so much as well.
It's so good.
But we've put that up against the Venerable Dreadnought. Oh,
It's not
blimey.
even
There we go. Here it is.
I don't like that.
You don't like it?
Oh.
Oh, maybe I picked badly. What about this guy?
No, I just don't.
Oh, I like this.
That one's alright, it's still not
Look at
good.
the size of his power fist. That's massive.
It's
There's
better.
there's a few other builds of it. I mean,
It's better, but it's just...
what about this Salamander's version with
The
the...
Salamander's one does look nice, but still no.
It's all right. I mean, there's a lot of variants around this. You get a lot of different builds you can do.
Does the Blood Angels have a version?
So this is your Ultramarine one, I think.
No, I don't like the Ultramarine
I don't
one.
think there is. There were. I mean, I was going to look at maybe. So we built a similar one of this for your Space Wolves army, if you remember. Yeah. We built Bjorn the Fellhander, didn't we? Do you think he's a better model? What do you think with him?
Well, he's a better model, but that's not Old Guard, is it?
Shall we get Bjorn the Fellhander into this game?
That's not fair, because that is new. That isn't old.
No, it's not. That's the same age, same model. Shall we get?
No, you've already picked now. No cheating. No cheating.
So, what do you think? So, coming back to the Redemptor, what is it you like about the Redemptor Dreadnought?
I love the hand and the gun in the same thing. That's amazing.
I think that's just the size of it is great. I think it's
Exactly.
just so imposing.
The only thing I'd change, I'd love to see a Dreadnought with tracks.
You think?
No,
Well,
just listen. Like, imagine this. So it's like a mini tank. So you got you still got all your guns and everything, and then like there's like legs. You still got your legs, and
yeah.
then you got like your.
He's got tracks on. Instead of feet, he's got tracks.
Yeah.
It would look a little bit like he's on a Segway.
No, but the movement would be quicker though, wouldn't it?
Maybe.
It
I'm
would.
not sure how well it would work out.
Just trust me,
No,
bro.
I think my problem with it is this. I don't really like the front sarcophagus
Yeah,
as much
it's
as I
not
like.
as good.
I prefer. Some of the. To
I
be
like the
honest,
salamanders.
I like this. To be honest, I'm going to bring up Bjorn.
No, that don't count. No, I'm not counting Beyond.
So are we saying the Redemptors are the winner?
Yeah, because you're not
But
counting
let's
Beyond.
go on. Who would Bjorn have won this fight? I much prefer this. I think the sarcophagus is much better on the first spawn.
I mean, actually, because we customised Beyond, didn't we? And
Yeah.
I didn't like the Fellhound.
Well, this is the other version with the shield and an axe.
Yeah, I did like that one. But Beyond would have won, but we're not counting Beyond because he looks too
So
new.
are you telling me if I picked Bjorn
Yeah.
as the option for the firstborn,
Yeah, old guy would have won.
then the
But
firstborn would have won this
He made a
contest.
mistake.
But I went for the venerable. To be honest, Matthew, I thought because it's something new. You've got Bjorn. We built him a few weeks ago. But for your Space Wolves
And that was
army,
backfired.
so I thought I'd give you something new there.
And now
so,
it's backfired.
so the Primaris are winning by default. Default. But I mean, I think to be
It
fair,
was
that
actually
is.
closer than I thought it'd be, you know.
I think it's been a pretty close contest with some. I think the point is that the firstborn range did have some really interesting stuff in it. I mean,
not big chunky lads.
yeah, you had your Centurions. I mean, there's been nothing. I mean, I think I do like the aggressors. I would say they were more of a Terminator competitor, but now they've released actual Terminators. You know, that's
You
the
know,
thing.
if Centurions weren't so difficult to paint, I'd probably get some.
I'm tempted to get some myself, to be honest, before because at some
Get
point.
one for me for Christmas.
Well,
I'd like one singular one.
Well,
paint it for
I
me
think you
for
need to get through some of your other painting first because you've got loads to get through.
Christmas. I do. Have you seen how much you've got?
Well, you know, I'm on a new miniatures embargo. You're talking about new stuff for Christmas. But anyway, I think this is. I think it's a good result for the firstborn. I think that they have come out
They
of
did
this.
better than I thought they'd
They've
do.
come out of it. I mean, there is good stuff in the range. Still, I think the quality of models is better now than it was previously.
obviously.
But some of the ideas, I mean, I'm sort of hoping because we are going to be. It's really noticeable if you go through the Space Marine ranges at the moment that a lot of the firstborn stuff that's left beyond things like your basics, like the tactical squad and so on, are the Space Wolf specific models. Because we've had releases for the Dark Angels, giving them Dark Angel specific models. We've had the Blood Angels. The Space Wolves presumably will be coming at some point in the near future, and you'll be seeing some. I mean, Bjorn has to get himself an update. Surely we need to see a new Bjorn. But you know, we shall see what's in there. But you know, I think that just some of those more. I think there is some interesting stuff in that Firstborn. But the quality of the models does bear out when you've got the tactical squadrons with the intercessors. It's really noticeable that the old models don't look great. Like you say, with the stances, it's not great. But anyway, but you know, 4-3 to the Primaris. It's not a bad result for the Firstborn.
Emperor, hire me, and we'll make a dreadnought tank.
A dreadnought tank with tracks for feet.
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe a bit of kit bashing we can manage. Tell you what, now you mention it, Matthew, we might have some of the I can't remember what you call them, the Adeptus Mechanicus guys on tracks.
Yeah,
they're about the size of a dreadnought foot, aren't they?
I think they are. Yeah, actually.
Interesting. Anyway, hold that thought. Right. That was good, wasn't it? I mean, a bit of a surprise result for the old first.
Yeah,
they ran them right to the end. They took them to the last hurdle.
Yeah.
Anyway, there we go.
And you made a mistake. You cost them it.
Well, I wasn't trying to let them win one way or the other. It wasn't meant to be, you know, me trying to make the Firstborn win.
I know, but you cost them it.
But I think, to be fair, without the benefit of nostalgia there, Matthew is still coming out with a pretty high mark when it comes to some of the stuff that is. I mean, this is stuff that's still in the range. I think if there was anything really bad in the range, it's probably been removed by now, you know, sort of replaced with a more up-to-date equivalent. But, you know, anyway, there we go. That was fun, wasn't it?
That was actually quite fun.
There we go. Right, so what we're going to say to the viewers.
Bye, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye-bye.